Hi, my name's Richard.
I'm Rachel.
Welcome to Aspirations Dance video lessons. While the techniques that we're going to discuss in these videos will work for any level of dancer, we are going to be primarily looking at the casual dancer, the kind of person who isn't really interested in the pressures of competition work, but just really wants to get onto the dance floor and experience the fun and enjoyment of partner dancing. So let's get things started. In this video, we're going to be taking our first look at two-beat Latin American work, otherwise known as the merengue, which is the party dance of the Caribbean, the easiest dance in the world. It's designed so the more you've had to drink, the easier it gets. So grab a bottle of rum, get it down you, and let's get started. Right, let's get into hold. We're going to use our basic Latin hold here, and then we'll show you later on how it works with our relaxed club style hold that we talked about in the hold video. Now, this dance is primarily focusing on a very good transfer of weight mechanic. So if you haven't looked at the transfer of weight video, take a look at that, because really what we're doing here is we're repeating the closing step that we talk about in that video over and over and over, and that's what's going to give us our basic merengue action. There are more things we can do with this, but for the purposes of this video, we're just going to look at the base action and we'll progress on from there at a later date. So if we find our starting foot, so for the leads it's going to be the left foot, follows is going to be the right foot, and we're going to lift the heel of that foot up off the floor, leaving the toe in contact with the floor. From this position, if we were to just take that heel, place it down and lift the other heel up, and then repeat from one side to the next, we're going to get ourselves a basic merengue movement, or two beats. So it's going to go 1, 2, a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, a 1, 2, a 1, 2, and that is it. That is enough to get you dancing. Now, what you will find with that, of course, is when you first start out, it can feel a little bit like, you're really trying and going for it, and it can feel a little bit wooden. So as you get more used to what is happening with the transfer of weight, what you can do then is you can start to bring the heel down a little bit closer to the floor, which will give you a much softer action as you're transferring the weight from one foot to the other. That will also bring in a little bit of the body movement, which we're not going to go into in detail in this video, but you can see we're starting to use the body a little bit more when we do that. So explore that, but if you're having problems with this, then bring it back to taking the heel up off the floor and getting that very deliberate transfer of weight. So depending on where you feel you're at with your dancing, choose how you want to interact with the floor. Now, all we have to do is put together some fun moves, and then we can have ourselves a great little two-beat dance, which is so versatile. It will work to any music, really. You just need beats, and away you go. So great for some of the fabulous Latin American merengue music that's out there, or if you haven't got access to that, you can use it to hardcore dance music, down at the disco where it's going boom, 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 boom. You can just get on with it. And do they still call it a disco these days? Anyway, so we're looking at our transfer of weight. Now, what we're going to do here, and you can follow along, is we're going to do everything in multiples of 4. That gives us a little bit of time to think, although it can be any number you prefer will be fine, but we're going to go with 4s, which means we're going to repeat our 2 steps 4 times. Now, to make that a little bit easier, I'm just going to count to 8. Okay, 4 times 2 equals 8. So when we start off, we get our starting foot ready, and we're going to do our basic merengue movement, and we're going to go a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now what we're going to do is we're going to show you that with that softer look now, where we're not quite so pronounced with the heels up off the floor. So this is the basic step now, keeping the feet slightly close. Now we still lift the heel up slightly, so we shift the weight over to this side over here, and now we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to rotate together, moving around in a circle. It doesn't matter which way you turn or where you end up facing. You don't have to try and match us. As long as you're not facing up or down by the end of it, everything's going to be good. So this is what it looks like when we rotate together. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, 6, 7, 8. The next part, we're going to separate away from each other, again for a count of 8, and we're going to slide our hand down our partner's arm as we do this. So we'll go a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we end up in what's technically known as double hand hold. Now, one of the things that you might find when you do this is you might get there before 8. So what you want to do is make sure that you dance those on the spot when you get there. So don't get yourself into a situation where you start going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once that starts to happen, feel for that point where it gets to and you can just relax into position. Now, from here, we're going to introduce some turns. So the leads are going to raise up the left hand, and at this point follows what we've done here is we've created a little doorway for you to go round and through. You're going to dance around using the basic movement, transfer of weight from one foot to the next. Leads, we're just going to stay on the spot doing our basic movement. So as the follows go under, we're going to do our basics. Ready, and a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, 7, 8. And here we are facing each other again, back in double hand hold. All we have to do to complete this, so we've got a fun little dance, is to move back together again. But that wouldn't be very exciting. So what we're going to do is we're going to place our hands palm to palm, and as we move back in, we're going to take them out and we're going to circle them wide, moving in. Now, depending on how well you know your partner, will depend on what you do here at the end. If you have just met for the first time, round they come into position. Enjoy and experience the merengue for how it was meant to be danced. I didn't make this up. I didn't invent this dance. Of course, if you've been married a long time, you get back together, you don't even look at each other. Okay, all joking aside, we don't really want to be making our partner uncomfortable in that way. So when we look at interactions here, from a follows perspective, if you are dancing with somebody that is getting a little too involved in the merengue for your liking, then you can apply a little tiny bit of pressure. What that means there from the lead's perspective, it doesn't mean that we have to, we're going to fight to get round there. What that means is respect your partner's distance, get into a nice comfortable position here at the end, and away you go and enjoy. And of course, follows, if you are happy and comfortable, you can let your partner know that they are able to come in a bit closer, and we can enjoy the dance in this way if everybody involved is happy to do so. Okay, so there's a little bit of merengue work. We'll show you the whole thing now in full so you can see it in action, and then you can have a little go and start your merengue journey. Okay, here we go. Basic 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Rotate 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Move apart 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Follows go under 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Circle those arms 3, 4, 5, 6 to start again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, one thing you will need to make sure if you do come into those close positions is you are in sync with your partner, because if you're out of sync when you get back together and you go for that close position, it's going to get very uncomfortable very quickly. Also, we don't need to do everything to the count of 8. Of course we don't. In fact, we don't even need to do things in the order that we're talking about now. We can start to break that down, and we can create a dance where it's lead driven. So the lead can decide when things are going to happen. So as we're going into position now, we'll do that, but I'll change things up a little bit. So if I wanted to do a basic, and then maybe I wanted to move apart here, and then maybe I just wanted to come back in again, that would be absolutely fine. You'll see I'm not really worrying about the numbers here. When I activate my rotation, I can go in different directions. I can change this if we're working together. And then at the turning point, if I wanted to, nothing's stopping me having a go here. As long as during the turns we're keeping everything nice and relaxed here, because if we do a grip like this, it turns from a dance move into a martial arts move during those turns. So we can really work on some of the interactions with partner through this dance. Rachel, do you have anything else you'd like to add to that?
I think my advice for the merengue would be just to not take it too seriously. A lot of people can feel a little self-conscious when they first start, particularly if they're doing the marching before they get to the stage where they feel comfortable softening it down. So just relax, enjoy it. It's also a fantastic opportunity for us followers to get used to being led. Okay, so try not to anticipate what's happening, the speed at which it's happening. Try to let your lead move you. Make sure that you've got a little bit of pressure towards the palm there especially, and that way any kind of movement apart or any turn can be communicated to you, and then all you have to do is respond as best you can.
And that's great. And if you get that interaction, seriously, one of the best dances for working out connection and interaction with partner. So use it a lot, practice it a lot. You can mess about with it, have a bit of fun with it. It's very forgiving. And as I said earlier, very versatile musically. You can get this to fit pretty much to any music out there. I mean, you could even squeeze it to waltz music if you tried hard enough. So there you have it. The merengue. Go away, enjoy that, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. Do all the usual stuff. Give us feedback, like, subscribe, call us in the wee small hours with all your problems. If it's important to you, it's important to us. We just want to make sure you're having a great time out there on the dance floor.